Hey everybody, good evening, good evening. So this is Ryan with Amir. He is here with me this evening. And as you know, we had an interesting night on Monday. So yeah, we're just kind of chilling, and we wanted to give at least a little bit of an update on what's going on, and let people know how Amir is doing as well. I know a lot of people are concerned. So yeah, do you want to, Amir, just tell us a little bit about how you're feeling? And
Well, I definitely appreciate all of the people who are. I'm sorry. I definitely appreciate everyone being concerned. I appreciate everyone being interested in what's going on, and I mean, I'm good. I'm good. Little bit here and there, just under eyes. Maybe it looks like I just woke up, kind of late, but other than that, I mean, I'm good. I'm good. Good thing is my no
yeah,
bent
show us your
fingers.
finger. Show us your finger. What was the
How
finger?
about this?
Oh,
That's the one actually. See that?
really?
Yeah. That was
Now wait, turn it the other way so we can see the like this. You know what I mean? Sideways,
yeah,
so we can.
yeah. So the doctor pulled that thing and just pulled it right back out. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
So it doesn't hurt that much? Hopefully.
When she did it, it did, but actually no, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
So
thank
low numbness, but I'll get over it. I'm a big boy.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was very concerning. Um, hey guys, yeah, thanks to everybody that said hello. I know French said hi. Wyoming,
Hello.
Truth. I don't know who Truth is, but hey, that's
Hey.
okay. Um, yeah. So what precipitated the whole incident? I mean, can you kind of walk us through a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is about the incident, and then we'll talk about the catalyst, what caused it. So what precipitated it was that uh, we 30 minutes prior we were in the city hall meeting at Harvey, and we talked about how Mr. Clark is going to it was doing things in my comments in my commentary. I talked about the pending federal investigation that we're going for. So I don't think that was received too well by him. Which I don't. Probably if someone's telling you got a pending federal investigation, and I started playing the actual evidence that I had from witness testimony, and hopefully people can go back and watch that. And then I said a few brief more things, and then I did a live on the outside to reiterate the fact that there is a pending federal investigation that we are going for and calling on the city of Harvey, Mr. Clark, and the Harvey police officials. And 30 minutes later, there was a call to be in the community at this in front of these different locations, right? That the squatters were. So we said, hey, two people, Beth and Ramona, actually called me, and they said, hey, you should come and check this out. And I said, okay, it might be a good opportunity to kind of see how they're handling the people, kind of see, make sure that they're not being abused, and just see how that goes. So we stood back. We did not get up front with the police because of said conversation just before. So we just wanted to monitor and make sure that the folks were being treated right and there wasn't any abuses of these people. So we stood back and we just watched.
And I was there. I was videoing because I was also made aware that there's something that was happening, and that we should go to Myrtle, the 15300 block of Myrtle.
Yeah.
So I showed up. I saw from a distance. I saw you guys, but yeah, it seemed like at first everything seemed pretty cool, until I don't know Tell us what happened. I'm gonna go turn the air off.
Yeah. So what happened was I guess it was the opportune moment for Mr. Brown and his people, and I believe it was a coordinated thing with Mr. Clark. As soon as the police left, Jedediah began to kind of merge into the the bushes, and it was a dark part of the street. Really, actually, the whole street is really dark. It's not a lot of street lights over there. So, he began to merge into the bushes with this other guy who I guess is his quote unquote bodyguard, younger guy, big guy, is about 6'2". And when we saw them merging into the bushes, then they went by my car, which was kind of closer. So we're talking a half a block they walked almost. And after merging, they got right behind my car. So my daughter actually saw him. She began to holler and let me know what's going on. So as I'm going back and just making sure she's okay, and that they actually came up to me and said, "Why are you here? This is where I'm trying to work. Why are you here?" So I'm like, okay, I know it's about to go down. I'm trying to get my daughter, kind of push her to the back and get behind me. So just in case what happened, started to happen. And my whole thing was, I know how my daughter is. She's a firebrand just like me. So I'm trying to protect her. And so Jed came and really got like literally up in my face. She was standing right there. And she's very protective. Again, she's a firebrand. So she jumped in and tried to push him back. And at that point, I believe one of them started swinging, or the punches started flying. So I'm trying to fight against them and push her out the way. And at that point, I think it was about 5 people who literally started hitting me. And I just couldn't recover from that. Somebody hit me in the back of the head with a brick or something. It wasn't a fist. And Jedediah jumped on my back, and that's when I went down. And after that, as I was on the ground, this other guy came and kicked me in the face. So my eye socket is actually fractured. He kicked me in the face, in the eye. He kicked me in the eye like 3 or 4 times. And I mean, honestly, I don't think any human being, most human beings would be disoriented. And then, and between all of that, and between the marley, somebody, dislocated my whole finger. So yeah, it was quite the night, right?
Wow. Yeah, and they didn't. Let me turn this around.
Okay.
Bear with me, guys. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Oh no, I'm gonna actually just feature you.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, let's just go for Amir. I like that. I like to play director. That'll be fun.
All right.
Okay, you guys, look at that. Oh, that's better. Now let me make sure we see. Close that. Okay. There you guys go. Okay, now you can really see Amir, and then I can also manage these comments. So yeah, you were, like I said, I was there. I got it on video. There were a few others there that took video as well.
Yeah.
And you had taken some blows, but you were still full of adrenaline and just trying to make sure that everyone was okay.
Yeah. So, I'm a big guy. I'm 6 feet, about 250 pounds, give or take. And it takes a lot for me. So I could take a lot of abuse, could take a lot of fight. But again, when you're mortally wounded and you got a fractured eye socket and that sort of thing, it's kind of hard to keep up a good face. But I do want to say that again, my whole concern that night was to make sure that my daughter was not in danger. And that nothing else really mattered to me at that point. And I did see them circling Beth at one point, and I'm so glad that they didn't do anything to her, because she wouldn't have. That would have been ugly. And then I think that they were really looking for a lot of the activists that were out there, because we're the voices of conscience and we've spoken out against Clark. So I think that they were looking for an opportunity. I don't know if they would have messed with Ryan so much because of the restraining order, but myself, Beth, my daughter, maybe a few others out there were probably fair game. So, but at the same time, I don't want to put anything past anybody, because as soon as the police left, this whole thing started.
No, yeah. Oh, and Deb wants to ask, has anyone been charged?
Well, question of the hour. See, Deb's a smart person. So there was a charge on the whole crew of battery, not aggravated battery, not anything else but simple battery, which is a misdemeanor. But it seems at this point, my opinion, the Harvey police, not even my opinion, I'm gonna just keep it all real. The Harvey police are trying to minimize this and get Jet and his crew off without charging. I mean, there was no aggravated battery. I don't know if you guys saw it. There should have been a evading charge. There should have been a resisting charge. They tried to get their truck and get out of there. They weren't charged for that. They weren't charged for resisting. The bigger guy, gentleman who was supposed to be Jet's bodyguard, was resisting. I mean, none of that happened. So all of this case is all one big case with one big case number with about 8 defendants, 4 on one side, 4 on the other side. And I mean, it's just a cluster, and it's going to be in Harvey, so quote unquote, in about 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So, you know, it definitely looks like it's definitely going to be railroaded if we don't do something about it.
Oh, can you explain to people, what do you mean by it's going to be in Harvey?
So Harvey, the municipality, should not be trying any federal cases. I mean, most municipalities, right, only try traffic cases, maybe violations, ordinance, like, you know, somebody not cutting their grass or something like that. So, you know, it's very, very unusual this is not just one felony. This is a multi-pronged felony case. When I said it should be a felony, or even if it was just a multi-pronged misdemeanor case, criminal case, it shouldn't be down in Harvey, Illinois. So we'll be addressing that in the jurisdiction, right in City Hall, where they try traffic cases, traffic tickets. I mean, it's unheard of.
And as you guys have know, I have covered traffic court before I reported, and it does seem to be, it's a coordinated effort by Mayor Clark and his allies on the city council to not only try to bring as many offenses to City Hall as possible, where Clark has control over the judge and the prosecutor and everything, but also people are getting really like huge tickets. A lot of people are complaining that they're not, you know, they didn't do the offense, or even if they did, they're like, wow, my car's getting towed because I had a headlight out, and then they have to pay $1,000. So it's definitely very scandalous. Have you tried sharing the footage and I don't know what that word is, with the Cook County Sheriff's Office downtown, since Harvey isn't doing anything?
Yeah, so we're going to go through the paces. My first step was talking to the Illinois State's attorney, just in case the tables were turned and Clark tried to have myself, my daughter picked up on some kind of warrant or something like that. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, we knew our options. I am working through the sheriffs. I have had a conversation with the sheriff's department. So right now, it's hard for another jurisdiction to take anything or do anything because Harvey has it. And honestly, it's not even in a global system. It's called the PACER system. It's not even in that system. So no one can even see the case files. I was sitting in front of a judge yesterday. She was trying to pull it up, and it's not even in the general case files where it should be. It's only in the city of Harvey limited database, which is a suspect within itself, but we know what it is. It's a railroad to try to get Jed and his team off.
Trina says, file a change of venue in the case to have the case moved to Daly Center.
For sure. So Trina, thank you for your coverage, sweetie. You've done an excellent job, and I love your passion. And I haven't met you. I know I've seen you talk at the township and in Dalton, but on this thing here, you are on point. So we are trying to file a change of venue right now. You know, we don't really know exactly what we're dealing with Clark. Clark is an attorney, by the way, guys. So he's actually using all of his resources to try to get Jedediah and his team off. So once we actually kind of navigate this a little bit more, then we'll go wherever we have to go. If we can, we'll go to the state, and hopefully we can go to the feds, because I did say in our city hall conversation when I spoke that the next day I was supposed to go to the FBI, but we're going to make it there within the next couple of days so they can start reviewing this whole case against Clark and the Harvey police.
And you can see You better. The Harvey Stray is friendly. He loves he loves
He
our
loves
visitors.
me. He loves me.
Let's
He's a
see.
friendly guy.
And then Trina, you said what? Okay, what? I don't understand what you're saying. What to, Trina? Oh, she says you're welcome. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Trina.
Crook, did you see? Because I'm using my phone, Crook, so I don't. Be nice to you, don't lick. I don't have real. It's not the easiest for me to see all the comments. Were there any other questions, Crook, that we missed? I'm trying to scroll here. Oh, and Trina had said assault and battery should be heard at Markham. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Illinois State Police. Scott had asked about the Illinois State Police. Yeah, that's a good suggestion too. Did Amir and Jed's issues start with the? You better stop. What was the rest of your question, Trina? It got cut off. Did Amir?
Did our issues just start with this incident?
Yeah, maybe is that what you mean, Trina? Yeah.
So here's the thing. Most people don't know I've known Jedediah for about 10 years. One of the things that I do know is I remember Jedediah 10 years ago being part of the Young Leaders Generation, which was started by Jesse Jackson, or which was coordinated with Jesse Jackson. I know he was a part of Operation Push. Jesse Jackson was kind of, I believe, a little bit of a mentor for Jed because he kind of came out of his camp. And I think after a while, Jed kind of started leering off to the right and doing his own thing. And because of a lot of the different circumstances and the things that he were doing, people, us in the advocacy of Chicago, we started kind of steering away from him because it looked kind of weird. And not only did it looked a lot of negative things were coming that we were seeing from him. So yeah, but it's been about 10 years now.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you think? Why is Mayor Clark using these troublemakers, sort of chaos agents? What do you think? Because you've been in this sort of work, you said, for some years.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on here? Is this something? Does this match a pattern you've seen before?
Yeah. So Jedediah is a proxy for the establishment, and what happens is that a lot of the mayors, like even the Rahm Emanuel, when we were fighting against the Laquan McDonald case in Chicago, the police brutality case where Laquan was killed and murdered, Jedediah was even a part of that. And what happened was the mayor of Chicago, allegedly, but we believe it, used Jedediah as a proxy to counter the conscious movement. So basically, they would pull their own activists who would have their own narrative and put their own narrative out there in their own spin, just to make it look like they were doing something. And if there was a voice that was kind of the louder voice of the two, they would use their narrative and their activists, who they said, these are the correct community activists. A lot of times in politics, things can be tried in two ways, right? The court of law and the court of public opinion. So public opinion weighs real heavily, and they try to curtail using folks like a Jedediah as a political pawn, a proxy, right? A proxy.
Right. Okay. And at the meeting on Monday, something that has never happened before. At the end, Mayor Clark said he wanted to declare a truce. What do you think about that?
Well, I know the heat is on right now on Mr. Christopher Clark. And I mean, even after I made my speech, or when I made my statement, I shouldn't say speech, when I made my statement about the situation with the business leader who was getting shaken down, right? Something that you went on and even validated even further, right? So people need to watch that live. His name is Hassan. I guess we could just say his name now because I didn't even mention his name.
Right.
But what people don't know is Jedediah and his crew went and literally physically beat Hassan. And this was Hassan verified this. There was a situation. This is an 80-year-old, 70-year-old, 70-ish-year-old business owner, Middle Eastern business owner, who, he's a nice man. As far as what went on between the city of Harvey and Hassan's businesses, that's between them. But he didn't deserve to be brutalized. He didn't deserve to be beat. And he actually was hospitalized. And the time that he went to the hospital, the allegation is, and he's saying this, Jedediah and his crew went and stole hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars of cars and vehicles that he had. And I said, well, Hassan, was it Harvey, the city of Harvey? He said, no, that was Jedediah and them guys. I said, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to do my best to support you. We need to get this to the feds. You can come with me, whatever we have to do. Let's get it together and let's get it going with your attorney and let's move forward. So that's kind of how this whole thing came about. But again, Ryan's video, and Ryan was out there live with him, and he validated everything that we had discussed. And I don't think I even mentioned Hassan's name directly when I spoke in the city council meeting earlier that day before the violent incident happened. But Hassan was the person who I was referring to.
Oh, and yeah, could you clarify? Because I maybe it's just because I was in the back or something, but I didn't quite understand your comments combined with the audio.
Yeah.
So yeah, could you clarify what you were sharing?
So here's the thing, and you guys can go back. I wish somebody would go back and get that video because it is key. So I said that Mayor Clark was actually going to. We are working on we are on our way to a federal indictment against Clark. I played witness statements, and the witness statements that I played were actually was Jedediah speaking about the brutality incident against Hassan. He was actually speaking about it. And then he also spoke about a $20,000 payout to Hassan from Mayor Clark. And, these are allegations that, I wasn't there. I don't know. Again, allegations are allegations. But if a federal investigator or the FBI or the feds are looking into this, then they could substantiate. But we want to give it to them to make the difference. So that's what I was doing. I was actually playing the video of Jedediah speaking, and I used him as my expert witness while he was back in the back.
Now, when did Jedediah say that about the $20,000 being given from Hassan to Clark?
It's in his video. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's like within the past month or.
Yeah, I mean, all of this happened. Even the incident was Hassan being beat down. That wasn't even 6 weeks ago. All of it is fairly recent, and Hassan can actually verify that as well. And I think he
did say yesterday
he did substantiate that. So
he said like the first time he had contact with him was beginning of June or something. So it really hasn't been that long.
It's all recent stuff.
There's another question. Did Amir used to work for Hassan?
I've never worked for Hassan. I've never received anything from Hassan. I never have taken any money for Hassan. The thing is, when I heard about him being beat and bullied, I wanted to lend my hand to see how we can go ahead and assist him. Because for me, it seemed like it was just, for me having experience in this, it's just something that shouldn't happen.
And what do you think? Hassan yesterday said in his opinion that it seems that either Clark is paying these chaos makers and or maybe Jed and his crew actually have something that they're holding over Mayor Clark's head.
Well, in our research, we believe that these guys are being paid under the table and, as proxies for Clark. And, we can't justify any other reason why they would be doing a lot of the things that they're doing, harassing homeless people, harassing and bullying Hassan on a reoccurring basis. I mean, on a regular basis, and Jedediah, regardless of whatever we say, he's already said that he is working for Clark. I didn't say it. He said it out of his own mouth a number of times, even before he attacked myself and my daughter, before they attacked myself and my daughter, he said, remember the key words. I'm working here. What are you doing here? I'm working here. So he's working as a paid advocate and a proxy for Clark in the city of Harvey under the table.
And Louise says, I think some individuals called on Jedediah to genuinely assist. Clark got involved and put a spin on it by paying him in some manner. The money and incentives won.
Well, I mean, we don't know We don't know what it is. We don't know what their contractual, relationship is. But we do know we see what the after effect is, right? Chaos.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say that was crazy. Okay. Oops. Sorry, what else here? Federal case. Okay. No. Dave says, why don't you do what LNC suggested and sue INA?
So INA is not a real organization, folks. It's a non-existent organization. I mean, it's a group of you, not YouTubers, not even to the quality of YouTubers. It's a group of people who got together and they run the database reports that anybody can buy online, and they run your name through it based upon where you live, and they get information and they say, hey, I got receipts and I'm going to expose people with it who don't like what they say. And that's what that is. It's not a legitimate organization. I would not, if someone has a 501c3 or anything on that or anything on this organization, please send it. Amir Shakur speaks at gmail.com or send it to Ryan. We'd love to see it. But it's not a legitimate organization, so we could try to sue them, but there's nothing there. But the city of Harvey is a bona fide organization and a certified organization that, basically, as agents and proxies for Harvey, there definitely would be something there. If that makes sense.
No, thank you for clarifying that about INA, because again, you've known about this group for a lot longer than I have, a lot longer than most people.
Yeah. Well, Jedediah just made this INA thing up. It's not even to the level where he pretends it to be. I mean, these are not seasoned investigators. These are not people. I mean, I have a college degree in criminal justice. Okay. These are not that. I'm a journalist, a bona fide certified journalist. These people are not. In restorative justice as well. Not even to the point of Jedediah. You know what I mean? I've known him for over 10 years, and I know what he is and I know what he isn't. So, and before INA, he had an organization called the Freedom Fighters of Justice, and same thing. They wanted to do a national organization and they wanted to help causes out. But you can go back and research that, and all the causes that they got into, they ended up defrauding the people. A lot of tragedy, they turned around and they exploited. And I mean, I could probably tell you about 5 of them right off the top, but we won't even go there. So, I mean, it's the same trend with these scammers all the time. They get involved in causes, they milk and suck the oxygen out of it, and they try to get all of whatever they can get out of it, and then they move on to something else when they've done collateral damage. Or they get ran out of town, like, say, for instance, Jedediah did in Texas and California and maybe Atlanta or some more places. So,
no, thank you. Trina asked, did Jed's bodyguard work for Hassan?
I don't know. That was no. I think this. I don't think Hassan would have employed that young man, but I know that that young man is. I think he's more of a recent development because Jed had Jay Bids at first. You remember he got into the fight in the Thorn Township. That was Jay, but I didn't see Jay out there doing a lot of negative stuff like, even as of now. It seems like now under Clark, there's been more of an extreme thing. I mean, he's more willing to really go down deep into like this downward spiral of just disrespectful, despicable behavior, harassing, bullying, and remember, y'all, he said he'll do it to seniors. He said he'll do it to, the elderly women and even children. He doesn't care. That's his statement. So.
And Dave says, Amir, that bodyguard tried to kill you and your daughter when he unloaded on her.
Yeah, I know that, and I do believe that. But at the same time, I want the authorities to do what they have to do. I hate to see him. I would hate to see him. I would hate to see either one of them. So I'm just praying about like how I am in my response, but I'm gonna leave it right there. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it short of, I see it as aggravated assault and battery, but I mean, you can take it if you want to take it to attempted, I don't we'll just leave that one alone for right now.
And French said, like he basically, he group of terrorists, basically. He says,
Yeah.
Let me see. Bear's having fun going through his toys. Let me see. He sues nobody when you still to. Okay, I don't understand that. Dave says, talk to LNC. He reached out last night to offer his help. Okay.
Yeah, anybody who was a voice of conscience and wants to get things done and done the right thing, there are a few things that you guys can do. Do it on your own, because I don't want, do it on your own accord. But call over to Harvey and say you want these guys prosecuted correctly. You can do that, or call the Harvey City Hall, or even call the Harvey City Hall. I would say you can even call the police department, but I can tell you to do it. But we want these guys prosecuted correctly. It should not be a misdemeanor. We want to see the case in our jurisdictional courthouse, which is the Markham Courthouse, or even downtown, or and if it's a federal thing, obviously we know it's going to be in Dirksen. But those are things that we're working on. We won't stop until there's a federal indictment on Mr. Clark. And I want to make that known. I'm going to say that again. We will not stop until there's a federal indictment on Christopher J. Clark, the mayor of Harvey. He's not going to continue getting away with what he's getting away with. And the little things that, that they've tried to do to a lot of us, hell, we bounce back. It's not like we haven't seen it before.
Trina also says, that's why you sue INA's YouTube channel, because it has income. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we could get that thing struck and taken down, and yeah, definitely sue. And I'm working on that too. I've started that process. Hopefully y'all could complain on it. The more people that complain about these devices, the more we can get it taken away, because we want to take away his profitability, right? So a lot of the videos that I've seen that are violent, I've actually asked them to be removed. I don't think that YouTube is as progressive in that area as they should be, but we're going to keep working on it. And again, we just got to keep complaining about these videos: harassment, bullying, degrading people, shaming people's sexual preference. All of those things, you can find in probably one video with Jedediah. You know what I'm saying? So
Vivian says, sorry this happened. Amir, contact me when you have free time.
Viv, give me a call. I've been trying to call you. Reach out to me, but yeah, I will. And keep up the good work too, Vivian.
Yay, Vivian. Okay, let me.
Viv's our girl.
Up. So Vivian says, hey. Foxy says, hey. Foxy. Your favorite survivor. How do you feel about? Oh, Trina want to ask about Napoleon's salary. Well, we can come back to that. Hi Vivian, this is Shy Girl. Still down for whatever? What, Trina? What is that from? Oh, thank you, Crook. Jed's been reported by LNC to the IRS and FTC, along with several state attorney generals, regarding tax financial fraud. Also, the Genesee County prosecutor has been contacted about the fight with timestamps. Is that in Michigan?
Yeah, it's in Flint.
Oh, okay.
Genesee County, Flint.
Got it. Miss Smart says, Jedediah needs to be stopped. Ryan, did you see him trying to read your restraining order? I did. That was hard to listen to because he clearly cannot read above a second grade level. Oh, goodness. Exactly. I was just shocked because, one of his videos, he doxes me again after coming to my house already and showing the front of my house to all his followers. Then he reads the order of protection complaint and shows my address again. It's like,
well, you know what? Hey, let's let him continue building himself a deeper hole. And here's what y'all can do too. We need video clips. We need segments. I would say just start sharing. Anytime you see a violation, anytime you see somebody threatened, anytime you see, get that segment, get that video clip, and let's start sharing these and building a database. You know what I mean? Stop what Kevin Smith says, Jed a liar. Let's stop Jed a liar. I don't even give him that much credit, but we need as much data as possible for the days ahead. And we're not even talking short term. Long term. We're talking short term. You know, because if you watch a given video, he's doing it every day.
And Foxy says, let him know I am calling everyone I can from the 3 letters to the others. I will not stop. Thank you, Foxy.
Thanks, Foxy.
What else are we missing here? Jed's new. Great. Why did y'all go to where Jed and his crew were? Kenyatta asks.
So, Kenyatta, we did not go where Jed and his crew were. So let's clarify. We went where people were being affected. We are activists, right? And remember, this was actually a police action that was actually involving Chappelle Hooks, who was an activist here in Harvey, one of the leading activists. And she had this has kind of been a pet peeve initiative of hers with working against squatting, right? So she was saying, you know, this was another action of hers. So it did not involve Jed. Jed got involved in it, but it was nothing that had to do with him. He was supporting just like all of us were. So it wasn't his thing. And to be honest with you, I'm going to take it a step further. You should be able to walk into any street in America that you want to without somebody having something to say. So, you know, I just have a problem when people start trying to take away people's freedoms. And I mean, again, I don't put it on the mad dog that was on the loose. I put it on the person who let the mad dog off the leash. And that's Christopher Clark. That's what I look at right now. We can't let him go.
Absolutely.
He has to be held accountable.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why he talked about calling a truce. And then at the same time, Jed and his group were going to create chaos. And I have to add, as a realtor, you know, I know, I'm not a lawyer, but I know a fair amount about rental laws, things like that. So to my knowledge, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems to me those were illegal evictions that were performed that night. So Jed, you know, had made the public comment to say, well, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to take care of it tonight. Not that it's not an issue that needed to be addressed, but my concern would be, as a resident and as a realtor and just as a human being, well, was it done properly? Because we don't know how those houses, that's where Mayor Clark pushed the residents out to build his park and the pond that we do not want, that we have over 1,200 signers saying we don't want. They're all owned by the city of Harvey, and the city of Harvey has been responsible. So if there were squatters in there, my question was, well, how do we know that Mayor Clark or people in his camp didn't say, hey, you know, let's make a deal for you. You can stay in this house. You pay us this amount of money. Blah, 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 blah. We don't know how those people got in there. So it's very conceivable that not only did at the minimum the city let those people move in when they shouldn't, but they could have even been involved and had them pay money, and then they're allowing Jed to come and perform illegal evictions on them.
And here's the thing. This is so, I just think it's unheard of that this guy he's not a certified official in the city. He's not a police officer. He's not the housing inspector. He's not anything, but he's given this clout by Mayor Christopher Clark in order to do a lot of the things that he's doing. And for me, it's not even smart on Clark's behalf, because what you have is you have a psychologically unstable young man who's doing a lot of crazy things. And guess what that person's going to do? He's going to cause Clark, I should say, a lot of problems. And he already is, and it's already started. And i.e., he's going to cost the city a lot of dollars in liability and lawsuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is very concerning. Crook, I don't know why for some reason the comments kind of disappeared for a second, but I don't know what happened to that. I'll try to fix that. But in the meantime, Crook, please put up the other share the comments that have come in so I can read them, and then, you know, in order that they came in, so I can read them and or ask the question. Okay, All in the Queue says, this cracks me up. The activator ran to that block for views. He wanted to be the first on the scene for views. That's it. That's all, because Chappelle said it in the meeting.
Right. That's right.
Not up. It's not up to Ryan to stay away. It's the other way around. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Dave. So some people have been saying like, oh, well, why are you talking about Jed or you're following Jed? To be clear, when you get an order of protection, I can be anywhere in public space to cover things or just to be there.
It's doing your job as a public reporter.
Yeah, and I don't need to. I don't need to censor where I go. It's actually the other way around. The burden is on the person against whom the order of protection is for. So let's just clarify that, because I think a lot of people are, from Jed's camp, are trying to use that, or like, oh, if you say his name, then you're going to invalidate with the judge. No, because I will call out his lies and abuse. It's not about, I have no desire to speak with him. But he's he's putting himself in the center of what's happening in my city. So I'm going to cover that because people need to know what's going on.
And the thing is, for him to make himself the nucleus of it is a popular thing that he does to try to give himself a higher, what's the right word? Help me. Give himself a higher stature to make himself look bigger than what he is. Look, nobody, who the hell made you? Why is Ryan coming around me and I'm here doing my work? And look, man, okay, he's not that. So what it is we have to keep these things in perspective. Anybody who's a community activist can go and stand on the calls, no matter where it is. And everybody should be able to support it and lend their voice and their ears and their energy to the cause. It's not a segregated thing that says, hey, Chappelle can't come over here, or this person can't come over here. That's not how this thing works.
Right. Exactly. But it is very rich that someone would say, come to your city and cause all this disruption, come to your house, dox you multiple times, just insulting and harassing as many people as possible. And then if we dare to speak against it, to defend ourselves, then we're said that we're following this person or that we're obsessed with this person.
Right.
That is the definition of gaslighting, Why don't you tell us what you're doing? French says, well, from my point of view, because in Canada, maybe they fact to sue everybody for everything is something that can break a society. Oh, yeah. Jed definitely. And again, you know more of the history of Jed and his group. Has that been a pattern where he's sued to try to get money off of different things?
No. The only thing that he's done in a lot of the cases is he's sued to get himself out of different hot seats. Like he got into a fight with the police like 2 years back, and the state's attorney came to his defense, and then she pulled out. I remember that. I just remember various cases to where he's had attorney help to try to help him get out of hot spots. I don't remember a trend where he went after other activists and sued them, And I even now I don't know if that is even the case. I think the thing out in Dalton is like kind of a unique thing, but that's a big money grab and it's a big cluster, right?
And it'll be interesting to see what the trustees that Jed helps to elect to the township, how they're going to vote on the lawsuit that he has pending against the township.
Speaking of that, can I say something? Do you mind?
Yeah.
If I were a trustee or any public official who is associated with Jedediah, giving him an award or anything, listen, this man is a menace, a disgrace. You guys need to take that stuff back. You guys need to not associate and stand by this man. If he has a shift event or any of these little crazy things that he puts together, don't go to that stuff. This person is not an activist. This person is a certified, I mean, he's a mentally disturbed person, and let's call it for what it is. Stop giving him support. Stop listening to him. Any person that can stand or go in public or do a public post and play with his genitalia, I mean, should that say enough? I didn't make him do it. Ryan didn't make him do it. He did that on his own. Any person that goes on the Lakeshore Drive and commits a suicide or pretends to commit a suicide with no bullets in the gun, it's, and we're not making fun of people who are mentally disturbed or the suicide issue. but we're saying these are things that he's done and he needs serious help, you know? So we got to stop holding these people up on a pedestal and calling them leaders, because I mean, we're using that word too generously, especially in his case. You know what I mean?
Tiki says, Amir, were you able to ID the other attackers?
We got everybody ID. I mean, you know, we got a full police report. You know, the police in Harvey, let me say this, that night they were compelled for various reasons. And Ryan, you could probably say how you feel about it, but they were compelled to do the right thing, because think about it. You know, the cameras were rolling. We had several witnesses. And I mean, you can't manufacture on the scene something like that. So they were compelled to do the right thing on the spot. Now it's up to Clark and those guys to try to deframe it, try to take it and make it something that they're not prosecuting. But on the spot, on the scene, they had to arrest those guys. They had to do everything they had to do. And I mean, you know, and here's the other thing I want to say. I'm not saying that all the police in Harvey are bad, but I'm saying the bad ones make the good ones look bad. So I hope that the bad ones would check the good ones and just work towards being conscious people, you know, work towards doing what you do, serve and protect. You know, I've been pulled to the side by a couple of officers from Harvey, and they're telling me, hey man, we're not all like that. And I told them, you know what, you can talk to me about it, but I need you to talk to the public about it, you know, because
I agree
you
with
don't have
that.
to prove that to me.
Absolutely, because unfortunately, silence is complicity. So when we see even the quote unquote good officers not saying anything, then to everyone else, that looks like that they agree with this behavior.
Exactly. I mean, the first thing that I asked him, and you know, was that, you know, do you guys have a community liaison? Do you have community policing meetings? Do you have any of that? You know, let the people know what you're doing in order to help and serve and support. You know, I mean, you can tell me you're good, but I mean, it has to show and prove it. You know what I mean? So that's just that.
Right. Does Amir have protective orders? Oh, wait, can you put that back up? What was it? Does Amir have protective orders on him and his thugs?
Well, here's the thing. If you have a police report that was a legitimate police report with criminal activity, there is a clause in the police report when it's criminal activity that they have to stay away. But because this wasn't done, this is being railroaded, we haven't been able to see the actual police report in its entirety. So we are working with Markham and some of the judges in order to get this thing correct. And I don't know if anybody knew, but Jedediah shared a picture of me in the Markham courthouse, me and my daughter, yesterday. So we are working on, you know, the protection apparatus, only because it's not because of the need to be protected in itself, but it's because we want to put this dude and his mom and his people in jail. You know, we want something to stick, and that would be for the benefit of us all. If I had to take that physical violence, and it was a mob action, and that's what I need everybody to know. It wasn't this guy beating me up or anything like that. And go back and look at the video. The first thing he did was jump on my back, and somebody hit me with something in the back of the head. And then when I was on the ground, the bodyguard guy kicked me in the eye socket like 3 or 4 times. I mean, I was literally disabled, but I was still trying to do my best, because then they started going after my daughter. So I'm trying to protect her, but, enough of that part. Just, we are working on, the protection and the security. And I can guarantee you that happened that night ain't going to ever happen again. And I would tell you 100%, and if I ever get the opportunity to square off with that guy face to face, I would tell you what, it would be my pleasure to kick his ass. I said it then, I said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah, and that was something that a lot of people have commented on, to say, regardless of the motivation for the conflict, that if Jed or any of his associates had issues with people, just to do it honorably, like have it out one-on-one. And then we have reports of doing the sneaky stuff, and then a group attacking 1 or 2 people. So there's just no honor at all in any of this.
I mean, even when he was getting ready to go after Viv, Vivian, for those, and out at the township, and I intervened. I intervened because it was just the right thing to do. I mean, you know, you're talking about you're gonna slap this woman who, you know, basically she's just, you know, you didn't like something that she said. Well, who the hell are you? You know what I'm saying? Who made you God? You know what I mean? She can speak her mind. She can say what she has to say. Ryan, you can say what you have to say. Beth can say whatever she wants to say out of her mouth. You don't have to agree with it. But that doesn't mean that she needs to be bullied, harassed, or threatened with physical violence. Now, does it?
Right. And doesn't this so-called activist say that he is here to defend people's rights?
I mean, and yeah, and the thing is, you got so many people out there drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's the main thing that it really blows my mind. You got these Kool-Aid drinkers who call this guy a leader, and you know, we love you, Jedediah, and all this and all that. Listen, y'all, he ain't no leader. Go back and do the research. This is not even, I say a provocateur would be a great thing, but he's not even that. This is even demonic. It's wicked activity, and let's call it for what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Crook, sorry, I missed a few. There were some good comments in there. Oh, someone mentioned some other people like Mary Avant still supporting Jed and INA. Some other folks, I noticed Napoleon has been silent as usual on all of this. I don't even know if did the Monday night's events get into TV news yet? I'm not sure. I haven't even looked.
Can I? Now, this is the thing that I really wanted to share, and I will share this. People who, you know, when the thing was going on with Tiffany and, you know, Jedediah and a couple of more people, but it was mostly Jedediah, was, you know, he was getting up in the meetings, and he was calling her bitch and all of that, calling her. I think, you know, that should have been checked back then. You know, these are public forums. Presentations should be professional, you know, because if you do it to one person, then, you know, it has to, you continue that trend. So you have to check that. You know, we didn't like Tiffany and what she had to say and a lot of the things in her actions. But when we saw that, you know, he was going after her and he was calling her out of her name, I think that they were wrong. The officials were wrong. The every city that he did it in, if it was Dalton or Township, they should have checked that. Because what we're dealing with now is the after effect of a Frankenstein monster, right? Mm-hmm. And then even the fact of, you know, going out to people's houses. You know, I didn't agree with him and whoever else went with him out to Tiffany's mother's home, and I guess she was living there. I'm not sure, but I mean, you know, this is, you know, these seniors don't deserve that. They didn't ask for that. You know, right or wrong, ugly or good, better or different. I mean, I just don't agree with that. You know, people's house is a place of solitude. They should be able to be love and peace. And for me, even adult officials didn't handle that right, because, I mean, he was on a bullhorn making noise. They did say he had to leave after a certain amount of time. But, I mean, you know, I just don't agree with it. You know, I think he should have been asked to immediately be removed because he was being a public nuisance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Another question. Did the cops know Jed and crew were going into the houses?
I don't know. I don't know what the contractual relationship is, again, between Clark and Jedediah. Only that Jedediah has been given so much leeway in the city of Harvey, and a lot of things that he's doing with police escort. And he says he's an agent for Clark, so we believe that he's an agent provocateur for Clark. And I mean, other than that, you know, I don't know what they do, how they talking about it, but I just know it's wrong. Period.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the theme of the interview? What do we do going forward?
Where do we go from here? Well, three things, and we kind of said it, but let's capitalize on it. We're in Harvey, Illinois. We have a public nuisance. I need all the men of Harvey. I want more of the men of Harvey to stand up and come out to some of these forums, come out to some of these things and be a voice, because I can guarantee you, if it was one more of me that night, or if it was two more of my daughters, then the end result of that physical would not have been the same. That mob violence wouldn't have happened. If it was more men around, I can guarantee you that wouldn't have happened like that. We need more men to be a voice in these matters and in the community. And I'm calling for all of the men in Harvey to just come forward, be more of a voice. I was upset when Jedediah attacked the older senior gentleman outside of the police station. I think that was Kobe's, somebody in relation to Kobe, Kobe Chapman. So, I mean, I just didn't like the way that it looked. I didn't like the way that it felt. And I mean, as you guys see, there's consistently aggressive behavior. So we need more men and, let's say, more voices of conscience to stand up. Like you guys said, maybe Napoleon in the township had been silent, but I mean, he is the supervisor of the township. We need you to say something about this Marley that's going on in Harvey. Even if you will, hey, I don't agree with that. I'm talking to Chris Clark. We need that interaction to happen to let us know that we are secure and you're doing your job. And I don't see that happening now. I don't think it's happened up until this point. Even if they have a bad relationship, the community should not be held at bay because of political indifference, right? So that is another thing. Voices of conscience and just the moral support from people who can make a difference, men, political leaders, folks who can come out and lend a voice to the thing and lend some real support to it. Law enforcement apparatus, heck, sheriff's department, we need the sheriff's department back in Harvey. I believe that at one point Harvey had a sheriff department monitor because of the corruption from the police department. We need that back. And I think I was told that Chris Clark removed that. I don't know how he could remove it just as a city mayor, but I guess he could. We need that back. We need the Harvey police monitor. We need the sheriff's department back.
And the crazy thing is that if you go back, we can find the post. I don't have them on me, but if you go back to 2016, 2017, when Christopher Clark was alderman, he was complaining about all the same things that we're complaining about now. Yeah. But instead of, himself doing it, it was Mayor Eric Kellogg at the time. And he was right to do so. That's why a lot of people, including me, initially supported him. So it's crazy because he actually was a key part of getting the sheriff at the time to intervene. And now that we're asking the sheriff to come for the same reasons that Clark had asked the sheriff to come for Kellogg's abuses, you heard in the live yesterday, the sheriff said, "Oh no, we can't intervene. You have to complain to the chief," and that we said, "Okay, well we've been doing that for years." So it's just very interesting that you did see more. I feel like the authorities were getting more aggressively involved when Clark was an alderman, and he was calling for that and he was asking for the help. But then when we speak up, or let's say Alderwoman Chapman or Alderman Key, it just it sounds like a lot of silence.
Yeah. For some reason, Clark is representative of a lot of politicians, and for some reason they make one bad decision and take one thing and they take it way and they exaggerate it, and possibly they had good intent, but then they start seeing, for example, they misuse the police, and maybe it was one incident to where they saw that maybe the use of the police was an extreme, and then they decided, hey, maybe we can continue doing that, and then it goes unchecked and unfiltered, and then there's a level of expectation, and that's you see like some of these totalitarian dictatorships, that's how they're built, because when these powers go unchecked for so long, it only enlarges and it becomes more pronounced, and then it becomes deeper and more negative as the time goes on. And that's what I feel, and I have since when I enter Harvey. People can't clap in meetings. People get harassed because of their differences of opinion. Somebody like Orion is in a political meeting, is ostracized, personally attacked. I've never seen that. I've never seen that in my life. And I've worked presidential campaigns. I've worked in the Democratic Party at a high level. I've never seen that in my life,
Amir's right. Oh, this is great. Amir's right eye. What is this? Y'all failed to realize Napo showed you who he was. I didn't fail to realize. I told people not to vote for him. The township is a social service agency. That's it. They have no legal input whatsoever regarding this. That I have to disagree. Amir's right eye, and Amir will give his opinion as well. But politicians have the power of the bully pulpit. That is something as old as American democracy. So they don't have to lift a finger to pass any law or ordinance. If they just use their voice to speak up, people will listen because they automatically have that forum from with their authority. So I have to disagree with that, because Napoleon is the Democratic chair for, or whatever the name is, for Thornton Township, and he's a supervisor for the township, and he's a state senator. So
he has a lot of empowerment, and he can make his voice, he can lend his voice to anything and make a difference, even if it's just his personal support. Yeah, the township is a service-oriented apparatus, but that person and his character and his personality in that chair carries a lot of weight, and don't think it don't. So please don't get it confused for what it really is. Mm-hmm. And we need the voices of conscience and the political leadership to stand up. That's just what it is.
Thank you, Beth. Beth said the way Ryan's been talking about is unprecedented. I have said that before too, yes, because I appreciate how people have been, I would say, supportive in general.
Right.
But I didn't say that to pick on anyone else that has been bullied by Clark. But I said, for some reason, Clark and Jed are obsessed with spreading lies about my sex life, and I think that tells us a lot more about them than it does about me, because I'm like, hey, I'm not hiding anything, but are you guys hiding something? You're not talking about Colby's sex life. You're not talking about Chappelle's sex life. So why are you so fascinated with men being with men? There's something that's really just bizarre there. But anyway.
And I will say about Ryan, the first video that I saw was when I came and I decided to get involved in Harvey. First of all, I grew up in Harvey. I went to Ascension St. Susanna. I stayed on 159th and Vine. My mother had a daycare called La Petite Academy on 154th and Wood Street. So, I remember Harvey when these streets were really, really beautiful. I used to go and swim at the YMCA, So, this is a community that I've seen, on its upswing and now in its declining mode. But I definitely have, I care about this community. And Ryan was one of the first people who, I reached out to when I saw what was going on and I didn't like it. And I saw it on YouTube and I'm like, Ryan, let me see how I can come out and support y'all. And that was before the Jed piece and all of this, just slightly before then. And I will tell you, Ryan has always been a brave person. You can't take anything away from Ryan, and he's lent his voice to Harvey. And to me, he's critically a Harvey son, So I always compliment him on his bravery, and I think very highly of him because of that.
Thank you, Amir. No, I appreciate that. And we appreciate your taking interest in Harvey and in the South End. What about, as someone who I don't know if you're still a minister, I think, or you were at least, right? You hadn't got a church.
Yeah, I stepped down from the church. I definitely am a believer in God Almighty, but I don't think I peel back the layers. I don't want a lot of layers in order for me to get to my Creator. So just organically as possible, I just want to do the right thing and allow God to bless me and bless others because of doing the right thing, and that's all it is.
And why do you see? We have tons of churches in Harvey. Why the deafening silence? I think I've heard other than Pastor Johnson, I can't think of any other Harvey pastor who has spoken up. Why do you think there's nothing being said? None of the pastors are quiet when it comes to time to collect the offering.
Well, that's a battle that will go on towards the end of time, or to the end of time. That's been there since the beginning of the time. I came from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the organization started by Dr. King. And I was looking for social justice causes to work for liberation when it comes to just the church lending its voice to support the community. It's called the Liberation Movement. And that's what I came out of. And me being someone who was raised in the church, I was actually elevated all the way up into the position of a bishop. And I ran 25, and I helped with a fellowship that ran 25 churches on the south side of Chicago. So for me, again, I don't know why a lot of the church leadership don't come out and support it, but that is the reason why I even left, because I just didn't see a lot of the proactivity when it came to critical things that matter in the community from the voice of the church. you know, and for me, I would rather stand alone than to walk in foolishness. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you know, people have said maybe it's fear that could be a part of it. You know, people are afraid. But then again, I would say for me and many other average citizens, well, we're afraid too. And most of the pastors don't even live here. They have their church here, but they don't even reside here.
You know, in fairness to the church, there is a double-sided way. I mean, you know, there are great liberation pastors that we know of throughout history, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., great faith leaders. I mean, even, you know, Malik Al-Shabazz, which is Malcolm X, was a person who came from the faith movement, right? Even though it was more of a militant piece. You know, I mean, some of the greatest reverends that we can talk about, even my movement, which I came from, the SCLC movement. So, I mean, when the church gets involved, they can make a difference. And when they have done it, they've done it well. When they don't do it, you fill the void. So, you know, and even the abolitionist movement, when, you know, with the slaves, they were running in and hiding in churches. So, I mean, and historically, the church has done the right thing. Do they always do the right thing? Is it happening in real time? Probably not.
Right. And I have to say, as just someone who lives here, and I'm sure probably some others would agree, but if we knew of churches that were being harassed, as Mandy says, Mandy said other pastors have spoken up, but they send the police to harass them at service and during the week. Some pastors just don't want to fight. But I would also say, you know, a lot of times we don't even know that churches or businesses or other residents are being harassed because people don't. That's partly why I encourage people to speak up. Or if you are afraid, you know, come speak to me or speak to Amir, or even contact us anonymously. But if we don't know that you are being threatened or you're suffering, we cannot help. I don't have the time. I have to, you know, unlike Jed and these politicians who just, you know, get money for scamming people. Like, I'm working, I have stuff to take care of, you know, Amir's got a life. So we want to help, but even if you can only reach out anonymously, I mean, if we don't know that you're being harassed, we can't help.
And documentate with video. I mean, we got the best technology that we've ever had in the history of our existence. These videos are making a difference when it comes to criminality cases. So we can pull out a cell phone and a smartphone and documentate because you can talk about it, but if you got a video and a visual, it means so much more and it carries so much more weight, especially in the court of law.
Absolutely. Karis said, I want to mention, Mandy said there used to be something about like Harvey pastoral meetings, but Clark stopped having them. And then my question would be, okay, pastors, men of God who have no problem preaching 20 minutes and singing to get that offering basket full. Right. What creative solutions can you do? Why do you need to wait on the city to have a Harvey pastoral meeting?
Hey, you guys could have started on your own. You guys could have kept it going. Okay, well, Clark doesn't want us doing it. We may not be able to get the cookies and the cake and, you know, the juice, but, you know, maybe we'll do something on our own, you know, every once a month instead of having it every other month. Maybe we'll have it once a month now. You know, I mean, we don't need official stratus. You know, we created the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, which Ryan is a part of on social media. And it's just a social media group right now as we speak. We haven't really done anything much more than that, but it is a newer apparatus. But it is a Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. And Ryan has a lot of organizations that he communicates a lot of issues unilaterally. And he's very effective with that. So, I mean, you know, you don't need a lot. You don't need bells and whistles in order to get started, in order to help people out and change lives.
Absolutely. Kara says, my husband and I at first supported INA. We thought he was doing good, but we have totally broken away. So much to open our eyes. What happened the other night was horrible, disgusting. I agree.
Well, it's not ending either. I mean, did you guys see what happened to, you know, Hassan and the continued saga with Hassan? Let's not take an eye on this Hassan piece because it's, you know, he needs that support and he has support, but we need to continue keeping his story out there, you know, because it's not just me, you know, this stuff has been going on for a while. And even prior to Jed, you got to remember you had Christopher Clark, who was violating people's rights. Let's not lose focus of that. You know, the situation that happened with Kobe Chapman being arrested, you know, and I think it might have been dismissed because it just wasn't the popular route to go. you know, a young lady who might be potentially, you know, potentially one of the mayoral candidates. I said one of them, you know, and she's arrested for something frivolous. I mean, you know, just not a good look, right? So we got to continue putting that information out there and letting people know. So, and you know, these narratives are long term. It's not just one offs. This just didn't start like last month. This has been going on for a while.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting because as we're talking, I just noticed. I wonder if this is more distraction from from Jed and his associates, because he called in to speak with Trina, apparently live right now.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh boy, you know. So I think if anything, those of you that have joined us, I'm glad you did, because I can tell you, Jed knows that Amir knows a lot more than most people about this organization and about how many people they've hurt. And there's a reason why they attacked Amir and his daughter, and they do not want anyone to hear what he has to say, because he's trying to share the truth.
And by the way, I mean, I even know members of Mr. Brown's family, you know, who I've known for years. And, you know, I mean, he's a black sheep, you know, they don't have a lot of love for him, you know, and I mean, you know, it's just a narrative that, you know, when we look at his actions, when we look, I mean, he doesn't help his case out at all. So, you know, and the thing that I want to say to, you know, to him is, hey man, you know, you can't bully the world. Go get some help. You know what I mean? Really. But
that relates to Brian Wade says, Amir, what was Jed's goal in life?
You know, I will say this from what I know about Jedediah. He is a charismatic. I mean, I believe he has a calling for a minister. You know, I know his mom. I've spoken with his mom. I don't know his mom personally. I've spoken with her. I've seen her. You know, they actually come from Bishop Cook, which was one of the more prominent ministers in Chicago before he passed away. So they're the Cook family people, and I think he had aspirations to be a minister at one point, and then with a lot of ministers, they go into like social activism and that sort of thing. So it's kind of more of a natural progression.
Okay, and then Brian says, thanks, Amir and Ryan. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Tiki says, Amir, please look at your mods in that group. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know who my thing about what I do is I give people the benefit of the doubt. And if I can't, then I won't. But I'm going to give people the benefit. I always have conversation, but I know exactly what you mean. So we're good on that. I appreciate you, Tiki. And I think you said that at one point, like last week. So I was hearing you. You know, I heard you. So thank you so much. And you keep up the good work, too.
Beth says, Jed has a calling, but is running from God.
Hey, you said it. I didn't. For me, I just want him to get some help, or you know, and run to the psychiatrist. That's where he can run, Beth.
And Beth, since you're in the chat, I mean, you're welcome to come on stage if you want, but if you just want to stay in the chat, that's fine too. You want to tell us how you're doing, because you know a lot of people are asking about you. They're concerned about you.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that nothing happened to Beth that night, because I saw them circling the field, and I think Beth is very brave as well. You know, she's a different personality. She has a different aura. She's very brave, you know, and it's a bright aura, you know. So I definitely appreciate what she brings to the table as well.
And I want to, I'm going to share, or if you tell me your email, I'm going to send it to Crook, who's the mod, and he'll share your email again, or whatever contact info that you prefer.
Anybody can reach me at amirshakur@gmail.com. Amir, Amir, Shakur, Shakur, speaks, SPEAKS @gmail.
Okay, at gmail.com. Tell us how your daughter's doing. How's she feeling?
Oh, she's a fighter. She's like me. You know, she's doing well. She wants to close this case out. Wants to see those prosecutions happen. So she's adamantly working at it. She's doing well, you know, and I definitely, you know, I appreciate, you know, she's a firebrand just like me.
No, that's wonderful. Let me see what else. Wait, Beth, did you say? Oh, you will go audio. Okay, cool, cool. Can you add her Crook if Beth comes on? Or wait, I'm sorry, we have to send the link, don't we, Beth? Okay. Wait, hold on. This man needs help. For him to attack a woman is so disgusting. Yeah, I hear that.
Well, again, this is the narrative that we have to let people know. This person says he'll attack women, he'll attack elderly, he'll attack children. He said that. I didn't say it. You can't make this up. Yeah, I think he needs definitely help, but he definitely is wicked. It's evil. It's evil. And we got to stop it. We can talk about how evil it is, but what are we doing to stop that narrative? That's the question.
Yeah, what are some other concrete things that people, that we all can do to not just to combat, the stuff that Jed's doing?
Yeah.
And Beth, I sent the link for you, so feel free, just click that and you can come on stage. But yeah, what can we do? Because this stuff's been going on for decades in the Southland and all over the country. What can we do to get the change we need to see?
Ryan, I'm so glad. Oh my God, that is a key question. If you asked that question, right? That's a great question. One of the things is if you see narratives that are not correct or wrong or lies, let's get the voices of conscience to dispel those. If you see posts that Jedediah is putting out there, make sure that for every one, we got 2 or 3 people disputing what he says, because we don't want these disruptors to have a voice. Let's kill that voice right at the head. You know what I mean? Smash the head of that snake in. So that's how they do good, because they get people who really believe that what they're saying is the gospel truth. So we got to eliminate that. We got to bring the voices of conscience and let people know. And somebody like a personality like even a Clark, we don't have to be negative towards them. We can talk about the negative things that they've done with 100% truth, and then let people put that out there, and we'll kill them with the truth, and that's what we have to do. We don't even have to be disrespectful to these people. Just let the people know in real time what it is. So when you see these posts, make sure you respond to them right away and don't let them linger, because certain people get suckered into that. And again, it amazes me how many people drink the Kool-Aid. So that's one thing.
Absolutely. Oh, and Beth, it says you have to connect your mic and or your cam, so I can't add you until you do that. So make sure you have your mic and or your cam.
She's technologically savvy, right?
And then DMG agrees and says, yes, show the facts. Oh, hey, Diana. Diana's on, no apologies. Right. Diana had some great, go check out her channel. No apologies, just me. She had some great footage from that night too.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for being out there, being a presence. And, your footage was wonderful, and you just being there. And I mean, it was just it was an evening, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, and I want, what, wait, before I forget, I'll remember. But anyway, I got the name of the lady who attacked me, so I will share that with you guys. Here we go, Beth. Hey, Beth, can you,
did she come in?
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, now I can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, I just didn't go on camera. I'm sitting in a parking lot and I have my phone to my ear and I'm watching my surroundings.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, tell us how you are. I know. Are you okay? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling worried like people are following you, or are you I don't know. Tell us how you are.
Well, I have told my neighbors to watch my surroundings and they're watching me. So that feels good. And one of my neighbors has a Ring camera. So if I needed footage, she would certainly give that. And then she works in the psych field, and I told her about the whole situation today, and she was appalled that Jedediah had done the physical attack, and that's upsetting. And then the fact that he came at me in anger has been very upsetting, and I'm a smart lady, but I've had to filter everything. It's hard to think all this through because he's very angry with me. So that's the thing. He's very, very angry with me. I've never seen him this angry. So I mean, what do
Mm,
you think about that, Ryan?
yeah. Well, I mean, it just makes I mean, I was there when I saw when when I was recording, and then you yelled out something like, Jedediah, get off of him, or stop that, or something. And I think, to me, you sounded genuine. I think you just you really, even for how Jed has and his organization has betrayed you so much and hurt you, as you stood by their sides and helped them. To me, I heard someone in your voice. I heard someone who really cares. I think you actually really do care about Jed, and you still want the best for him. So that it just
Right.
makes me sad. But I'm glad that at
Yeah.
least you know the truth, and you have good people around you to protect you. But it just reminds
Right.
me of when we talked about narcissists, that one show, and how narcissists view people like you and me, especially, well, those of us that are more empathic, we're like the worst.
Right. I'm an
Uh,
empath. Yes.
yeah,
I
we're
know you're an empath too.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
their favorite kind of people, because we're
Right.
always more in tune with how others feel. And we want to bring,
Right.
peace and harmony to around us and to the world. And so, unfortunately, a
Right.
narcissist, that's perfect, because they're the opposite. They have no empathy. They don't care about anybody. So it was really evident, I think, to me at least, that when Jed
Yeah.
thought he was done using you, he disposed of you just like he did me and others, like an object. And it's sad, because I see in you someone who truly cares. And in Jed,
Right.
I don't see that. It's totally, he's never even acknowledged anything good that you did. You walked all that time in the cold with him just that one night. I mean, that alone was
It's
huge.
amazing. And as far as the narcissism on YouTube, there are many videos about narcissism, and I've watched many of them in the last week or so. And he just is he's a classic narcissist. But at this point, I'm going to say this, Jed, please repent before God. Please get help. Please seek help. If you have to go to Shelby, Shelby will help you. If you have to go to Carolyn event, they'll help you. I'm pleading that you would go get help. We don't have to know about the help, but you need to get help because you're not doing well. And so I'm saying to Jed, please go get help. You need to do something. You need to do a reset, because where the anger that you have right now isn't going to settle down without help. And if you hurt somebody, it's not going to be a good ending for you, Jedediah. You can dislike us, you can dispose of us, that's fine. But the way that we walked, let me tell you, Ryan and Amir and the world, that
Mm,
when I was walking with Jedediah on State Street towards downtown Chicago, and we at one point we were walking without a vehicle with us. We had the police that was flanking us, but we had no sidecar because they had to change cars, because two ladies got up out of the bed and came, and they rode with us all the way to 9 West Walton. And there was a point where Jay Jones was in the vehicle and I was walking with Jedediah, and somehow Jedediah didn't get the right nourishment as a baby because he has bow legs, and Jedediah's legs were literally giving out. And his arms are strong, but I had to hold him up. And he can deny that to anybody, but he can't deny the truth that the reason that he accomplished that was, and he didn't just accomplish that. I had to hold him up. He
mm,
can't deny that.
mm,
Yeah, he did that walk. And then another thing, let me tell you, this is a narcissist man. You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
mm,
Because he went to a fence and he was able to release his urine, but he didn't think about the fact that maybe I didn't have any opportunity to stop anywhere. I literally went 9 hours without any, bathroom break.
Mm,
9
wow.
hours. But he didn't think about that because he's a narcissist. He didn't think about my needs, the person that was the activist with him, when he had other people that would never walk with him any distance. And then Beth comes along and really is a tough person and walk beside him. And now because you can't control me, and now Jedediah, because you can't brainwash me, now because I'm not in your group anymore, now you're gonna flame me. You're going to go on media with your people and laugh at me and mock me. That's how dare you? After all I did to stand behind you, Jedediah. How
Exactly.
dare you mock me? How dare you when I was one of the strongest people behind you? How dare you when I prayed many hours for you, when I supported you? How dare you mock me? How dare you? How many other people have ever supported you, Jedediah, like I have? Very few. How dare you? And then to yell at me, and I felt like he was going to choke me.
Mm,
Honestly felt like he was going to choke me. I have a right to be angry, Jedediah. You have not had people stand behind me, you like myself. You have a lot of ladies brainwashed, but they don't stand on the street with you. Ooh,
no, you're so right. I was very worried when I was videoing and saw you because I wasn't super close, and I saw him coming towards you. I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't hit her.
I hope I didn't break any microphones.
Yeah, oh my God, that was just so crazy. Here's a great thank you, Beth, for sharing. I think that's so important. Tiki says, Beth, what advice would you give to others to seek the truth behind the mask? That's a good question.
I would say that people should go. This is what I would do if I was a member of INA. Go on Google and Google Jedediah Brown and read any articles or stories that you can read, and then go back and think about who he is and what he's done. Do that. What has he accomplished as an activist?
Mm,
Read those things and get clear, because you see, what we have here is we have two activists that have gone into Harvey, and now Jedediah Brown thinks he can say to Amir Shakur, you can't come in, Harvey, because I'm here. That's what Jedediah is saying. He thinks he can say that, but he can't.
mm.
That's what
Uh,
I have to say.
no, thank you, Beth, for sharing. Chronic Mike brings up a good point too. He says, under Illinois state law, that is considered assault. The way he came at you, Beth. And then he quotes, I guess the law says, a person commits an assault when without lawful authority he or she knowingly engages in conduct which places another in reasonable apprehension of receiving a battery. So I guess that's just something that you can take for what it is and consider
No,
that.
I won't. It wasn't reasonable. It wasn't reasonable. It was verbally violent, and his
Mhm.
body language was violent.
Right. Yeah.
It
No,
wasn't a reasonable. It wasn't reasonable. His body language was violent, and his tone of voice and his facial expression was violent.
That's true.
And the reason that he did not get to touch me is because strong women blocked him. Say that. Say the truth.
And Beth, I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, no, they didn't mean reasonable as in Jeb was reasonable. I guess the law says conduct which places another person in reasonable apprehension of receiving a battery. So in other words, if you, like an average person, did you feel that you could have been, hit, like he could have made contact with your body? And I mean, I would say I would agree with Chronic Mike. I mean, it would seem like that.
Mhm.
Jabbar says it's verbal assault. Tiki says it's on camera. So just food for thought. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we're not saying you have to press charges or anything right this minute, but thank you for sharing that, Chronic Mike. Louise also said Jedediah masked who he was in Dalton, as he had checks and balances. Clark has given him free reign, so you're seeing his true self. So that's a good question for, maybe Amir and Beth. How is the struggle, and what happened with Jed and Dalton? How is that different from Harvey?
I can answer that.
Let Amir talk now, Ryan.
So what happens is that when you have this type of personality and they're fed, there were telltale signs even in Dalton that people didn't pay attention to, like going off of the podium and challenging Andrew Holmes to a fight, and that's not really your position to do, because the courts of law can take care of it. If Andrew Holmes had allegations, the courts of laws can actually deal with that. But for you to say, hey, you're going to tell me right now, did you touch that woman? And again, people didn't question it because of the circumstance of and who they believed Andrew Holmes was or is. They didn't really question that, but that was even a really negative behavior right there, right? Or the fight in Dalton, which nobody got charged for, but that was a negative behavior. You are in a a public forum, and this is a big Marley brawl. I mean, that had to be a red flag right there. So, I mean, I think that the red flags were there, but people didn't pay attention. But now it's being licensed by Clark, and now you're seeing it in more and more extremes, because as the days go on, because he's a mentally unstable person, it's becoming more extreme, because it's almost like you feed someone's ego, but you feed it and they grow more of a monster at each event, each time. It's almost like he feeds off of this and it gets worse every scenario that comes.
Well, I'm going to say that if you're his friend, if you're Carolyn Event, I'll say Carolyn Event public. If you're Shelby Shell, if that's really your friend, then you should seek to get Jedediah some kind of an intervention where you go and you meet with him and you demand that he gets help, because if you don't, it's not going to end well. I don't think that you like it that I said your name. I don't think you like it that I'm being so strong, but he needs an intervention. He's every time that he's done something in the last week, it's gotten worse. Hello.
So anyway, Amir was just sharing, kind of how issues in Dalton versus issues in Harvey, how they're different, and he was saying that they're actually pretty similar. It's just that people maybe weren't seeing the signs in Dalton. There was another good point or question. Let me see. Hey, Mandy. Oh yeah, we're back. Sorry. James says hey James, in Dalton he was fighting the mayor, but in Harvey the mayor has his back. That is true.
I mean, when you have players in this tragic story, the different players, you see them in the different positions. But again, regardless of the who's and the what's, look at the actions and the entitlements and how, you can go back even to Dalton and even prior to Dalton and some of us Chicago activists, and we had problems and concerns with Jedediah way back when. So, I mean, there's been a consistency. So I think if you just go back and do what Beth said, Google and look at some of the things, you can see there's a pattern there that's, really questionable. And you can see how it leads up into today.
And Amir, I have a question for you. So since you have seen in the past, you've seen Jed and people that were harmful like this be defeated, what wisdom can you share with us about like a successful way to make sure that people like chaos agents like this don't come in and cause problems like this?
So what you do is when you have this overwhelmingly negative personality, you don't allow that person to be who he is and exist in this space. People share the narrative, continue to deflate or debunk all the things that they say. Let them know that it's going to be a challenge for him to be who he is and exist in the space and be accepted in that space. I mean, the last trip around where he came in and I was an advocate for a baby who was murdered, Samaje Crosby in Joliet. And he came and he started intervening himself at the request of someone who was a friend of the family. And I mean, he really compromised that case, and it's an unresolved homicide to this day. And he never really talks about it. I always watch to see if he would talk about it, but he never does. But the case of the 1-year-old baby was never resolved. And I would say I don't blame it all on him. I think the detectives really didn't do a good job, but I mean, he really confused the matter. He complicated and made it a lot worse. What we did in that instance is, I mean, we just pretty much let people know and disputed him every chance that we got. We didn't back down. We weren't nervous or scared to speak against him, to let people know what the truth was. We kept the right narrative out there instead of letting the wrong one exist. Also, another thing that you can do is, get the voices of conscience together. Everybody who was in opposition to Jedediah, I put everybody in one circle. And we had a similar message. We went and approached him similarly, and we wore him down. We didn't allow him to be who he was. And I even shared a video where he's explaining that. It was Bishop Greg Greer at that point. That was my prior name before I changed it to Amir Shakur. So, he was saying Bishop Greg Greer went and got together and got all of my ops together and so on and so forth. We need to do that now. Minion Opinion, Ryan, all of the YouTubers, let's continue to share the messages. Let's continue to support each other. Let's continue to debate and debunk his stuff, because that's what's going to keep it out there. Trina, what is it? LNC Live Crew? Is it LNC?
Late Night Crew?
Late Night Crew. Yeah. I mean, I love some of the stuff that he's saying. Some of this people a little bit on the weirder side, like Cooking with Frank. I don't know about that guy, but I mean, I'm not saying it's a negative thing or not being negative towards anybody, but people who we know are sharing the right message and the right conscience. Let's elevate those voices. And even the folks in the community. I mean, there's a gentleman by the name of Kevin Smith, and I love everything that he says because when he speaks with a voice of authority. And he talks on posts and he disputes a lot of things that are being said that coming from Jedediah and his crew that are negative, and he speaks. And I mean, I'm just loving the guy, so I mean, we need those type of people, and they're worth their weight in diamonds and gold, right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know who Kevin Smith is, but thank you, Kevin. You've been giving great comments. I appreciate you. I do. I just want people to think independently. I never demand that everyone agree with everything I'm saying. It's not the point. The point is just, try to be ethical, moral, ask questions, think for yourself. Don't be in a cult. Now, I want to raise because I'm just looking at some of the comments in another video. It says Greg Greer fucked up the Samaj Crosby case in Joliet. I have no idea anything about that, but I was going to ask you anyway. Could you share more about that with us? Because you're right, I've never heard Jed say much about that.
Okay. Ooh, someone said I fucked that up. Is that what they said? Okay, well.
That's
Hey.
the allegation, but just in general, could you tell us a little bit about
that's
what happened?
one person's comment, which is probably a supporter of Jedediah. But what happened was there was a young baby who was murdered in Joliet, and basically the police, the detectives, really, there was a lot of problems and a lot of issues, and they weren't as aggressive as they should, and it became an unresolved case. I was able to get the coroner's report released maybe several months after the baby died, which they weren't going to release that, which declared it a homicide. I was able to do a little things. I was able to bring family members together to go talk to the detectives, and they agreed to do that. Outside of that, we weren't able to move the case like we wanted to. And, there were just things going on, like, Jedediah coming in and talking to the detectives, trying to talk to the detectives. He wanted to talk to members of the family, like the father of Samaje, and the father didn't want to talk to him, but he got mad because he felt like I was intervening. And it wasn't the fact that I was intervening from him talking to the father, but because he had just come from the Kanika Jenkins case, and that was a mess. I said, we don't need that here. We don't need that in Joliet with this baby. So I wish you wouldn't stay. And the father didn't want anything to do with it anyway, because he saw that it was all a bunch of negativity. So, hey, people can say what they want to say, but you know what? You got your opinion. I got mine. The truth is always going to be in the middle.
I thought it was you. I heard someone say that they felt that because Jed and his crew were there, that they actually ruined a lot of the progress that others had made.
Well, the thing that he did do, which was really the most negative thing, is he was trying to intervene and talk to the detectives and all that. And I mean, energy that could have been taken towards, forwarding to the investigation. Now we had to deal with this guy and that sort of thing. And the detective, RJ, I mean, he was kind of more of an open book, and you could kind of talk to him if you had tips and that sort of thing at that point. And it just, for Jed to come in, and then he was saying, hey, we resolved this case and we know what happened. And I mean, he would release these little briefs and all of that, and none of them were ever materialized anything, and they weren't correct. And I mean, it just became a big circus show.
Okay. So maybe that wasn't you. I thought I heard someone say, that there actually could have been some breakthroughs in that case, and they felt that Jed really ruined it.
There were some legitimate breakthroughs, but it didn't come from Jedediah. Like I said, we got the coroner to release the actual report and declare it a homicide. And I mean, there's a lot of people who think that they know what happened, and I mean, I'm not at liberty to say that. But I mean, I think it's an unresolved cold case that needs to be resolved. And I mean, I believe that they could have resolved it several years ago.
Right. I was going to say the allegations that I had heard, I don't know much about the case at all, but were that some people believe that Jed's involvement actually harmed the.
I believe that to the hill. And, just out of fairness to him, now I want to be fair to him. It wasn't, the detectives could have done a lot better job than what they did, so I don't want to say just because he came into town with the clown outfit and the clown show, it stopped the investigation, because that would be giving him too much credit. It wasn't just on him, but he did complicate matters somewhat.
Oh, and Minion raised a good point too. He said that Clark is playing Jed so bad because once everything's said and done, Clark will blame everything on Jed.
And to Minion's point, Clark's looking for the classic fall guy. It's a smooth move, and Clark's a cold player, man. He'll have a fallback clause. Hey, I didn't tell Jed to do anything, and if there's no paperwork and no agreements on paper, and I think on one side of it, I think that's why Jed keeps saying on video, "I'm working for Clark. I'm working for Clark." Because that gives him some kind of, not deniability, but it gives him the connection, But one thing that Jed doesn't understand is, Clark's an attorney. So, he knows how to see through that and shift through that, and he'll slide through that like a snake. So, I mean, to Minion's point, I mean, Jedediah is being used clearly.
And who do you think is going to turn on whom first? Clark or Jed?
Who's going to turn on who?
Yeah. Do you have a prediction?
I mean, you know what? I think here's the thing that people need to look out for. There are trends that the relationship is ending. As of the meeting the other night at Harvey City Hall, Clark said, "Hey, we need a truce." Why do we need a truce? Possibly because the heat is on. And then Jedediah even made the statement, "Maybe I should get out of Harvey. It's not worth it." And that's been said as the last 2 days.
Oh, I didn't know that. That was in one of the videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, probably because the heat is on, and they see that the relationship is not mutually beneficial. Or maybe, maybe because Jed is such a loose cannon, maybe he's doing a little bit too much. So maybe Clark sees that, and maybe he sees him as a growing liability. So maybe he's having to find a way to distinguish himself without putting himself out. So, these are things that I'm seeing, but I'm seeing on both ends, I'm seeing the relationship is starting to diminish. I mean, I don't think that Jedediah even thought he was going to get arrested the other night for what they did. I mean, I think he was literally surprised. And then I said, "Hey, Ryan, get this shit right here," when he was being arrested. And Ryan was right on point with that video. I think he was totally shocked that he was going to get arrested.
Yeah. What do you think about the Harvey police leaving after? So, this fight happens, even if, let's just say, worst case scenario, we don't really know who started it.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't leave, but Jed and his buddies ran to that SUV and Harvey police didn't follow.
Right. I mean, and Ryan knows, like, even when the physical part of it, when the mob action happened, and I call it a mob action. When the police first rolled up, I was peed off because I said, "Jed's right there, get him," and they refused to do it, and I was literally upset.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was another time to where Jed and the guys left the scene, and I think that what happened was Clark and one of the law enforcement officials told him, "Look, if you run, they can get a warrant for you, and you don't come back, and we won't be able to handle it because that would be the county. So you need to go back." And that's why I think he came back. But the other thing that people need to watch in that video is there was a second vehicle that they let get away. It was a second vehicle that was Jed and those guys. And I believe that vehicle had guns in it. I believe it in my heart. And the police didn't do anything about that either.
Was that the vehicle that Stringer Harris was in?
I'm not sure.
Because he was there too, right, at the fight?
Yeah, Stringer Harris is a gentleman who's been in Jed's web for a while. He's connected to, I think he's connected to Clark. Might be an associate of Chappelle's, loose space. I don't know, maybe not. But I know he's definitely is one of the ones, and it will be prosecuted as well because he took a couple of punches at me when I was, in the mob action. But then he tried to kind of play in the back role of it as well. And he's a cell phone store owner, so we know exactly who Stringer is.
Oh, and speaking of that, I'm gonna let the dog out again, but tell everybody what happened during the fight. With what did you?
Yeah, someone picked up my cell phone. I know who you are, who stole my cell phone, and that's going to be prosecuted as well. So if I were you, I would be running because it's an iPhone. So we already know, we've already traced it. We already know what it is, and hey, that's what it is. So you guys gonna get a lot of charges out of this, and I mean, we won't slow down until it's going to be resolved. Even if Harvey tries to dismiss the case, we can always pull it up. Once Clark dismisses it out of Harvey, then we can have that case retried. So just know that. So you're not going to get out of this. One way or another, you will be prosecuted, even if it's for the minimal pieces. But you guys going to be prosecuted. I'm just trying to tell you.
And Beth says, "Return the phone." You tell them, Beth.
Hey, no, let them keep the phone.
Oh.
They can keep it because you know what? We know right where it's at. We know where it went. So it's all good.
Okay, good. And then, so do we know who was in the other vehicle?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, and I don't have a lot of information about it. But
and also, I was wondering what happened, and several people were proposing different possibilities for the time between the fight happening, Jed pulling away in the vehicle, running away, and then coming back, because they could have disposed of illegal weapons, drugs,
I think that
anything.
that's what they were doing. I think that they were disposing of firearms. I do believe that they are carrying firearms, and I think that that was a way for them to dispose of the firearms.
And to be clear, I believe, given how close Jed was to me as I was reporting that, and I don't think. Well, no, actually, I think in the hearing for the order of protection, they said they withdraw the FOID, or they pull your FOID.
Yeah.
So he legally can't have any weapon.
Can't have any weapons whatsoever. And if he's caught with them, I mean, he might as well kiss. He might as well go ahead and get his blanket and his little bed sheet, and he'll be up in Metropolitan for a good long time.
Wow. Okay.
Metropolitan Correctional Center, the federal penitentiary, by the way, for those who don't know.
It's crazy. He says Sheila R. was in the other vehicle. Oh, okay. That's the lady with the red braid. Return the phone. Status quo says return the phone and ask for forgiveness in a beseeching manner. That's very well put.
You guys call it INA, and hopefully some of those guys who I felt like had a little bit more common sense. I didn't see Shelby Shell out there that night, and I don't know what her relationship is with him, but Shelly, whatever her name is. Listen,
no, you're right.
I hope that people start seeing this for what it is, and you just can't go out and commit criminal activity and expect for it to be okay. You just can't even harass. Cyberbullying is against the law as of 3 years ago. You might as well have assaulted somebody because it carries the same sentence. Harassment is against the law in most states, 24 months in jail. So this INA brand that they've made, even putting people's personal information out, all it takes is documentation and sending that up to the feds. They may not react within the first month, but they're going to get around to it because of the caseload. So I would, if I were you guys, if you feel like you've been harassed, cyberstalked, or anything like that, documentate and have that thing ready. These people can't hide behind keyboards. Their IP address will show with these qualified technicians that the feds have working for them. So, I mean, even if they try to erase it, it's still traceable. So, I think this INA myth, because people are so scared. Oh, he's investigating me. He's going to put my information out. And this is the myth that he's trying to make as an intimidation tactic. We need to let people know and cut it out for what it is. Get them. Don't let them live. Don't let that exist in reality, because it's not reality based. I mean, even when I ordered that cease and desist, it still slowed him down for a little bit, didn't it? And now he feels, because of the mob action that they did, he feels a little bit emboldened and brazen, because he got one of the people he's been trying to get at for about 10 years now, which was me.
And then I don't know if it was in the video, but I did see, I think it was cut out or left out, but it appears that Jed tried to trespass again at Hassan's property earlier today, and that there were some of the employees or security or something that actually did stand up to him,
right,
and they made sure that he did not enter.
And it was a totally different scenario with no crew, no Jed by himself, and basically being pushed back. And I mean, it's private property. I think Jed was saying, which was his fantasizing, it's a fantastic myth. This is public property that we own, and you got to leave. And I mean, listen, Hassan has been there for years and years and years. He was brought by the former mayor of Harvey, David Johnson. Who was my sociology teacher at South Suburban College, right here in South Holland, in Chicagoland, for those who don't know. And so, I mean, he's had a legitimate piece and a bona fide piece of Harvey, and he is a businessman in Harvey. how is somebody who's a nobody going to come and just say, hey, you get off that land because you don't own it? I mean, if there's a contractual disagreement between him and Harvey, that's between him and Harvey. They have attorneys, they have, logistical people. They have to work that out one way or the other. Maybe Hassan will end up leaving because of, whatever, taxes or whatever. But that's between the city officials and that business owner, and not some ragtag, guy who's in this mob who say this is, what it is. And stop listening to those people who are listening to Jed's theories about how these things should work. He's not an attorney. He's not a city inspector. He's not anybody qualified to even speak on these matters. I would rather him have somebody next to him from the city qualified to say what it is and what it is. Then it would be more believable instead of him just saying it. But then that plays upon his personality. So these are the key things that y'all got to watch for. Don't believe the hype and stop drinking the Kool-Aid, because it's getting old now, right?
Mm. And I'd like to tie into what It's Crazy says, Sheila R., aka Fred Sanford, Jed's right hand was in a green shirt, drove away in the second vehicle. It's Crazy said, oh, I can name a lot of them. We saw a list of them. I think referring to INA people. It's Crazy also says Shelby Shell is the online harasser, and at the same time, that's what It's Crazy saying. But I have to look at excuse me, at a comment, and she says, let's talk about how Amir has changed his name. He has about 6 aliases and 50 fake companies. So it does appear that she lives up to that accusation. She's the online Has she come after you before?
Who, Shelby Shell? No, Shelby Shell made some comments before I issued the cease and desist. And, my name legally is Gregory L. Greer. I haven't done it. My spiritual name is Amir Alakim Shakur, which means leader, all wise and thankful to God. Because when I left the church, I wanted a name that would be in proximity to where my faith was going in, my belief. And I haven't done the official name change, but I officially go by Amir Shakur. Obviously for, purposes of legal documents, because it has been done in the state, I use that. So, but I mean, my name is Amir Alakim Shakur. I mean, but whatever name I choose to call myself, that's my damn business and nobody else's. So, I mean, people put energy into the wrong things, And again, I just want to remind her and INA and anybody else who fishes for people's information and puts it out there public. It is against the law to put people's personal information out, especially when you're doing it in a punitive sense and damage people in a negative sense. That is called harassment. It's against cyber stalking laws. Look it up. And if you don't believe me, let's use you as an example to show. This INA thing is a myth. It's been so over exaggerated, and it just needs to end, man, because people fear this thing. I don't know what it is and why people fear it, but they're doing a lot of stuff that's illegal and against the law, and they're not being called off for it.
And I'm glad you're speaking on that, because here's another comment by Shelby. If people only knew how many people there really are on the team, laughing face. So why are they always? I've seen many comments like this. Yeah, it's like this exaggeration that there's this big mysterious network of people and they're affiliated with the FBI and all this stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
What is that?
Jedediah wants to make it like he's a criminal justice official, but I don't think that helped him out when he got arrested for impersonating a police officer. Did it? So this is a continuation of that. For those who don't know his criminal history, yeah, he got arrested for a person. And I don't have to say that. That is public knowledge, maybe some people didn't know. But I mean, so I think that this has all been kind of like a further continuation of, where he came from. And each trip that he goes down, he figures out a way to improve it and make it more impactful in a negative sense. And he becomes a better con and a better scammer through it all. So he's perfected it to a greater level, because I think what I seen, I mean, even when he went into Dalton, I said I wouldn't say anything to anybody. I would leave it alone because it seemed like he was doing good work. I even saw him one time and I said, man, it looks like you're doing good work. I think, and he even mentioned that. But, I mean, that lasted for about a good 2 weeks.
And let me see. Oh, Javar wants to know, Amir, are you a member of the Nation of Islam?
No, I actually was a minister when I was first ordained. I was first ordained as a member of the Nation of Islam, but I went to seminary and I was ordained as a Christian pastor, and as I was consecrated as a Christian bishop. So I went to Christian seminary. I went to Liberty University, and I went to also Trinity Theological Seminary in Dalton. It's now closed, but it's also part of Deerfield. So it's Trinity International. So, yeah.
And then Jabbar, you wanted to know, Ryan, you didn't reveal the person who attacked you. Yes, I wanted to tell you all. Okay, so I found out her name is Keisha Stokes. Keisha Stokes. And let me see if I can put it in the chat so I can spell it for you guys. Sorry, you better chill out. He's jealous. He wants all the attention, you guys.
Just want some attention.
Let me see. I should be able to put it in here. This is how it's spelled. It's a little bit different. So, So if anybody knows anything about this lady, obviously I want to know everything there is to know.
The bodyguard's name is Rashad Stokes, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
So they might be in relation. I have to go back and look at my records.
So Keisha Stokes attacked me. So if anybody knows anything about her, obviously I would love to know, because the police wouldn't even give me her name that night. I'm like, wait, what? You did all this? And you won't even tell me who attacked me? And this woman had the boldness. Now, remember, at least when Jed and his crew went after Amir and his daughter, the police had temporarily pulled away. There were still like 4 squad cars there, and at like 10, 20 feet away from this lady. And she comes and walks and attacks me and knocks my phone down. So, I mean, they're getting really bold. This is really...
And by the way, she is going to be prosecuted as well, just so y'all know. If it's not in Harvey, which we doubt it will be, but it will happen because we have enough video. But one thing I did want to share, which is quite interesting, Jedediah and his team were released out of Harvey at 4:00 in the morning. They didn't go. He actually did a video. They didn't go to the county, which they should have, and we know that Clark is trying to throw the thing for them. They drove their car to the Harvey police station and parked it for him. He sat in the waiting room at the Harvey police station, and he basically stayed there for about 4 or 5 hours. So I mean, this is
So they never even put him in the cell.
I don't think they put him in the cell. I could be wrong. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, we do whatever we have to do because we want to make it look as good as possible. But it's. Hey, you know what, guys? Let's continue staying on it and watching how this case develops. And please feel free to pressure Harvey City Hall. Give them a call. We want Jedediah and his team prosecuted, and we are watching what's going on. Call them up. Let them know that the eyes of the world are watching, because we want to put as much pressure on these guys to do the right thing. Hopefully it gets resolved amicably, but, as long as Harvey, I doubt it.
And I wanted to mention, another question. I think that, someone did ask about where they were held. Oh, Straight Shooter says, once this all goes away, no one will remember who Jed is. Could be.
Let's hope so. I wish it were now.
Right. Question, have any letters been sent to the Attorney General for the alleged collusion between Clark, Jed, and the police department?
All of those things are ongoing and working. So, I mean, if you guys have any information that would help us build a case, please feel free to do so. I mean, I know that there has been a lot of harassment, and we just want to connect all the dots that we can and put everything together. So you guys got something, feel free to reach out to me, feel free to reach out to Ryan. And as we're going forward to building this case, I mean, we ain't stopping. We're We will not stop. And I just think right now there's enough voices of conscience with the thing with Hassan, with the thing with Ryan, with the thing with Colby, with the thing that happened with me, that we got enough people that are paying attention now. And it's the noise level is really, really high now. Probably higher than it's been in a long time, but I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong.
Another point we wanted to, I think we briefly mentioned earlier, but if anyone wants to, we really want whistleblowers to come forward. And I say this very seriously. So if you work within Harvey Police, City Hall, Public Works, it could be, you could be a past employee. It could be a small job. It could be, you know, a job that's higher up. Like, it doesn't really matter. But if you know anything, you might not even think it's important, but you might have a small piece of information that you think doesn't matter, but if put together with other information, it could help us figure out where the tax money's going, what they're doing with all the properties that the city owns, and to just basically get to the bottom of what's going on in the city. So if you don't want to contact us to reveal your identity, that's fine too. You can have someone else share your information. You can, you know, do so anonymously, but I know Amir and I both would agree on that we want whistleblowers to come forward and know that if you do want to reveal your identity, we're here to protect you, to help you. We're not going to expose you. We don't want you to, you know, be harmed or lose your job or your family get hurt. You know, I mean, so anyway. Excuse me. I just wanted to share. I did pick up the police report. For some reason, they won't give the police report to Amir, which is very shady. But I wanted to share, at least these are the names that were given of the attackers, because I know not everybody necessarily knows who's who. So I already said Keisha Stokes, Keesha. She was the lady that attacked me. And then we had another one, Raheem Sharks.
Sharks. Okay, that's I think it.
Raheem Sharks is
the bodyguard.
Yeah, let me see, because they listed here on the second to last video. Okay. That Raheem Sharks is listed as committing battery against Ariel.
Okay.
Then there's Alicia Spikes, also listed as committing battery against Ariel. Jedediah Brown, battery against Ariel. Raheem Sharks and Jedediah Brown, battery against Greg Greer, Amir, which is Amir. Okay, so those are the names. So again, that's Raheem Sharks. I think he was the taller guy in the white hat. In the one video, to me, it looked like he started the whole thing, but Alicia Spikes, I guess, was the lady. I don't know who that is. Jetta
might have been the driver, the heavyset driver.
Oh yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, because there was only one lady there. Yeah, Jedediah. I do wonder though what happened with Stringer Harris and the other people that were present.
Well, I don't think Stringer was charged with anything.
Yeah,
but he will be if we have our way. He's not absolved from criminal responsibility here. So, you know, somebody knows Stringer, let him know we own him too. And I mean, it's not an allegation. You know, we have video evidence to support.
Right. Oh, thank you, Grace. Thank you. Josie Boo says thank you for the response. Yeah, and I'm just looking at the report here. Otherwise, we're probably just about done for tonight. It says officers left the scene, but moments later were called back on scene via Sergeant Wright. And I do remember him saying, you know, send back up immediately to 154th and Myrtle. And then the offender appearing back on the scene, attempting to flee, going eastbound on 154th and Myrtle. They were stopped. They were taken into custody. Okay. And then it talks about the lady who had Keisha Stokes, who attacked me near 154th and Myrtle. Also, if anyone has any information about why I want to know why Alderwoman Talani Smith was there. She obviously, I mean, yes, she's a private citizen, so I mean, it's not that she can't be there, but she was there, and her niece's car, I guess, was parked right in front of her on 154th, and I don't know if she was
monitoring for Clark.
Yeah, I don't know, but that was so strange because then when some people saw her and then I was walking over with my camera, she moved her car. She didn't leave the scene, but she just moved seemingly to avoid. She didn't want people to know she was there. So again, that's my question. Okay, if you're there, anybody can be in public, but then why are you trying to hide that you're there? So if anyone has any information about that, please let us know. That would be good to know why she or her niece were there. And her niece, on the video as she was coming to attack me, it appears that she was somewhere with the police over there. So I don't know what's going on. The other thing is just to let people know, as of now, all 4 offender court dates are for August 22nd at noon at Harvey City Hall.
Yeah, which there should be no reason, like we explained at the top of the show, that is in Harvey City Hall. So hey, you guys give Harvey a call and let them know, hey, we want these guys prosecuted the right way, and these offenders should be going to jail for felonies, and not even less. What about the resisting arrest? What about the eluding or evading when they're trying to get away? And a gun was pulled out in their vehicle to get them to stop. One of the officers pulled out a gun. There should be a charge there. So. Look, I don't know where in Mr. Clark's head he thinks he's going to twist this narrative, but it's not even possible. There's too much video and too many witnesses. And not only have the videos been shared between the community here, but it's been shared on a national level. So a lot of people have been looking at this stuff. So you got the eyes of the world on you, Mr. Clark. You're going to have to do the right thing. And as far as Mr. Brown, got the law coming for you. So we hope that would make you do the right thing. But I mean, I won't hold my breath because I'll probably I'll fall out probably within the next 30 minutes and I'll be gone. Ryan, you have to come to my funeral, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also it's so funny because can you imagine how if it were me or you or Colby or anyone who has just even asked a basic question of Mayor Clark, how we would have been treated? Oh my goodness! Could you imagine all the charges that would have been leveled against us?
We need to be stacked up.
We would have been
We'd probably still would have been in county jail.
Yes,
in county right now.
And Jed probably it seems like Jed got some tea and crackers and got babysat for a few hours and was sent home.
Right. He was able to do a live video and everything.
Yeah, it's just not. This is not justice.
But he was upset that he got arrested, though. So I mean, I do see some glimmer of hope there. It was because I don't think he even expected to get arrested. I thought he would say, hey, maybe a pat on the back, good work for, knocking Amir's eye socket in, okay?
Right, exactly. And Crook County shared in the chat. You guys can see the information, the address and the phone numbers for Harvey City Hall as well as the Harvey Police Department. So as Amir had stated, if you want to call and just express your opinion, we're not encouraging people to do anything violent or crazy, just to make that clear. But the public has a right to call those public numbers for City Hall and for the Harvey Police Department, and you can express your views if you feel that justice is not being done here. And what did you say, Amir, about the location? And
yeah, we need to change that venue. It's a multiple felony case, a complex case against multiple felonies and they made it simple assault, but it should be aggravated assault. It should be a felony instead of a misdemeanor. It's just a cluster right now. And I mean, there's no reason why Clark should be trying this, and it's not even a good look for him. So, I mean, it just fits the narrative of corruption. And it's not even a smart way for him to proceed. So hopefully he does get smart. Hopefully somebody who's connected to him, because it's only making him look worse. And, it's digging Jedediah and those guys a bigger hole, because once they dismiss this thing, if they do, then we can just retry it in another venue. That's all. For the correct charges or for additional charges, even if double jeopardy is not there, there's still enough other things there that we can try and go for. So, hey, it's up to y'all where we go from here.
Absolutely. And then, Cook County reminds everyone, so, that the information's on the screen. You can respectfully redress your grievances, you can contact the city hall and or the police department. Kara says, thanks, Amir, for talking to all of us. Beth also, Ryan, thanks for hosting this tonight. Yes, no, I'm glad we were able to do this. Skeeter says, I'm glad you're okay, Amir.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Any last questions before we sign off for the night? I'll give you guys a few seconds if you have anything, and then Amir, if you anything you forgot.
I just want to thank Million and Opinion, right?
Oh yes, thanks, Minnie. I don't know if you're still watching.
And I want to thank all of the people who have shared the story and keep communicating, keep doing that work, because you know it's making a difference. You are making a difference. We need to make sure that the right stories are told, and even in Facebook posts and all that, just keep sharing the truthful, correct information, because it is making a difference, and we're bringing resolution to this. And you know, Clark's going to eventually fall. He's going to eventually change. But if we make enough impact, maybe that will be a deterrent for whoever gets in there next to do the right thing. You know, Jedediah is going to fall. He's going to fall. He's falling as we speak, you know, and we just want things to be right with our communities. We don't want to green light people and think that they can do whatever the hell they want to do when they come into these communities, whenever they want to do it to whoever they want to do it to. So let's just keep the communication going in a positive manner and consistent manner. And I appreciate y'all as well. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes, thanks, Amir, for coming on. Let me see. James says, continue your work. DMG says, thanks for sharing. Lady Luck Club says, I caught this late, but hang in there, Amir. So thanks, everybody.
Oh, that was a good video by Lady Luck. I saw that. You did a good job on that. I'm not an elder, though. Was that Lady Luck who said, I'm not an elderly person, though. But, you know, hey, I was, hey, you hurt me. You know, that might have hurt me the most out of the whole thing. But no, it's all good.
That's hilarious. And I don't know if Shay is in the chat, too, but it was either Jed or I'm not sorry, Jed. It was Amir or also Critical. I haven't seen your last few videos, Shay. But they were giving you compliments on giving people constructive ways to bring justice to these people.
Oh yeah, that was the bomb. That was wonderful.
Yeah, and Random News too. I know right now he's in the chat with Trina and Jed. They are still, I don't know if they're still going at it, but they've just been, you know, he's being crazy. But Random has done a lot of great stuff as well. Thanks for your videos, Random. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Random News, man. Keep it. You rock. You rock. Hey, I got my channel started. I hope to be like you guys. You know, I'm a journalist, so I come from a totally different aspect of it. But man, you guys are making a difference. You creators are making a hell of a difference. So, you know, I definitely, you know, want to be welcomed into the club. But, you know, maybe one of you guys can give me some tips. But I appreciate it, though. Keep up the good work. Seriously.
All right, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.